Oh, look at you, the main character, the walking disruption. You didn't just enter the room. You rewrote the atmosphere, and now they're losing sleep trying to figure you out. You feel it, right? The stares when you're not even trying, the silence that follows after your name drops in a room, that tension when you walk past people who were just talking like their lives depended on it until you showed up. You didn't ask for attention, you became unavoidable. Now everyone's whispering, who is that? What did they do? Why does it feel like they know something we don't? They act like they're curious, but let's not kid ourselves. They're obsessed because people can't handle what they don't understand. And you don't fit into their algorithm. You're not safe. You're not polite. You're not playing the same game. You've got that energy that makes people question themselves. You walk in with no apologies, no fake smiles, no desperate need to be liked. And that shakes people to their core. Because we live in a world where everyone's dying to fit in. But you dared to stand out. You didn't water yourself down. You didn't shrink to make others comfortable. You didn't sell your soul for likes, clout, or fake praise. You stayed real, and that makes you dangerous. You're not the villain. You're not the hero. You're the plot twist no one saw coming. You broke their narrative. Now they don't know whether to cancel you or copy you. They analyze your moves like it's a crime scene, stalking your socials, replaying your words in their heads, trying to decode your confidence like it's some forbidden language. But the truth is, you didn't get this way by accident. You earned every ounce of this power, every stare, every whisper, every fake smile hiding envy. You built yourself in the dark, when no one was watching, when no one clapped, when it was just you and your demons, and you made a pact with them. Either I kill them, or I become one. You stopped trying to be relatable. You stopped begging for belonging. You realized the real ones don't blend in. They burn through everything that tried to bury them. Now they look at you like you're some kind of anomaly. But nah, you're just finally awake. And it terrifies them. Because if you woke up, maybe they could too. And they're not ready for that kind of accountability. So what do? They talk, they speculate, they make up stories. Because it's easier to gossip about you than to deal with themselves. They say you're too much. Good. Too much for them means you're finally enough for you. You make them nervous, not because you're wrong, but because you're real. You don't flinch when someone pulls away. You don't chase after crumbs. You don't bend for small minds and scared people. You just keep showing up. Louder, clearer, unfiltered. And that's what makes you unforgettable. You're the one who got out, the one who didn't quit, the one who chose chaos over conformity and thrived in it. And now the world has no choice but to pay attention. You're not a trend, you're a shift. You're the glitch in their system, the proof that survival can be stylish and healing can be loud. So let them talk, let them speculate, let them wonder if you're a myth or a problem. Because while they're busy trying to dissect you, you're building your next empire in silence. You didn't come this far to be understood. You came to be felt. And now they feel you in their throat, in their chest, in their insecurities. Every time they hear your name, every time they scroll past your face, every time they try to outdo you and still fall short, it hits them. You're not just different. You're what they gave up on becoming. And there's no going back from that. They'll start dressing like you without realizing it, borrowing your phrases, mimicking your confidence, biting your tone. But it doesn't fit them. It never will. because they skipped the pain that forged it. They want the power, but not the scars. They want the roar, but not the silence it took to build it. You bled for this. Behind closed doors, with nobody clapping, you died versions of yourself that the world never even got to meet. The part of you that used to care what they thought, dead. The version that waited for permission, buried. The one that kept trying to fit into groups that drained you, burned to ash. You stopped begging to be included. You learned how to walk alone. And when you did, something shifted. You stopped asking for a seat at their table. You realized the table was made of cheap wood and insecurity anyway. You started making decisions that didn't make sense to anyone but you. You started turning your phone off. You started losing followers. You started saying no. Not to be rude, but because your peace finally had a price tag, and it wasn't cheap anymore. They called it ego. They called it attitude. They said you changed. You did. But not for them, for your own survival. Because people love to keep you small. They love the version of you that doubts, apologizes, second guesses, the version they could predict, manipulate, explain. But you outgrew that skin. And when you did, they lost control. Now they throw shade in public and study you in private. They'll never admit it, but your evolution shook something loose in them, something they've been trying to keep buried. And every time you take another step forward, it drags their unhealed selves to the surface. You didn't become a threat by accident. You became a threat the moment you realized your energy wasn't meant to be palatable. It was meant to be felt, uncomfortable, heavy, unforgettable. That's why they label you. Too aggressive, too confident, too much. Too much just means you stopped performing for their comfort. Because the moment you stopped trying to win the popularity contest, you started winning your own war. Your silence became louder than their noise. Your presence started exposing everything fake around it. People began shrinking next to you. Not because you made them feel small, but because your growth made their stagnation obvious. It's not your fault they stayed average. You just refused to. And now they're stuck in rooms where they have to pretend they don't see you. Pretend they're not watching. Pretend their stomach doesn't drop every time they hear how far you've come. You became the conversation they can't stop having, the trigger they can't mute, the proof that there is another way. And it doesn't involve selling your soul to fit in. You didn't play it safe. You didn't follow the script. You set fire to the script and walked through the flames with your name written in smoke. Because when you realized no one was coming to save you, you became the thing worth saving. And you did it without a blueprint, without the fake applause, without the handouts, without pretending to be soft just to make scared people feel strong. They call you a monster, but what they're really saying is, you're something we can't define. You're something we can't dilute. You're something we can't stand next to without feeling exposed. And that's exactly what you were born for. You didn't wait for the green light. You ran through intersections they told you were blocked off. You kept going, even when nobody clapped, even when it was just you and your overthinking, and your fear punching you in the ribs at 3 a.m. You kept moving when the silence got loud, and the losses stacked high, and everything in you wanted to disappear again. But you didn't. You stayed. And that scared the hell out of people who quit the second life, stopped being convenient. You started healing in ways they don't teach. You made peace with versions of yourself that were never allowed to exist in public. You forgave yourself for showing up messy. You stopped chasing people who only loved the broken you they could fix and control. You stopped auditioning for rooms that would never celebrate you at full volume. They felt that, the shift, the exact moment you stopped flinching when they withdrew, the moment you stopped explaining your intentions, your boundaries, your fire. You weren't rude, you were done giving energy to people who only show up to drain, done trying to prove your worth to people who couldn't recognize gold unless it came with a receipt and a cosign, done being the uncredited ghostwriter of relationships, jobs, friendships, conversations, always building, always holding, always saving. You pulled the plug, and the silence that followed, that was peace, not loneliness. People think you changed. You didn't change. You returned back to the version of you before they taught you how to be digestible. Before the shame, before the shrinking, before you got good at apologizing for taking up space. You walk different now because you're not carrying guilt that doesn't belong to you. You laugh different because you're not waiting for the next betrayal. You stand different because you finally realized being real was never the problem. Being around people who feared authenticity was. You were never made to be neutral. You weren't built for half-truths and fake bonding. You weren't designed to nod politely while your soul choked on silence. You were built for depth, for disruption, for rooms where the energy shifts when you speak. Not because you're loud, but because your presence is undeniable. You intimidate people who only know how to control watered-down versions of others. You make passive people feel exposed without saying a single word. You walk into places where they pretend to be healed and suddenly they're twitching. Because your energy doesn't lie, and theirs does. You don't beg anymore. You don't chase. You don't flinch when someone ghosts you. You don't spiral when you get misunderstood. You don't shapeshift to make insecure people feel safe. You just keep showing up. Raw, intense, all in. And people either rise to meet you or collapse under the weight of their own inauthenticity. That's what happens when you stop playing small. That's what happens when you stop softening your edges for people who were never going to stay. That's what happens when the monster in their story is really just the free version of you they don't have the nerve to become. They still don't get it. They think this is some new mask you're wearing. They don't realize this is the face you were hiding the whole time. The one they kept trying to dilute with fake compliments and low expectations. This is the real you. Uncensored, untamed, unbothered. You don't care if it makes people uncomfortable anymore. You spent years molding yourself into something easier to swallow, shrinking your voice, rounding off your edges, lowering your volume to keep peace with people who never gave a damn about your silence anyway. But you stopped handing out explanations like coupons. You stopped walking into every room hoping to be chosen. You finally realized you were never meant to be liked by people committed to misunderstanding you. You intimidate people who only know how to manipulate weakness. You frustrate people who can't control you. You trigger people who only ever felt powerful when someone else was playing small. You're not like them. You don't need the group chat to feel valid. You don't need constant applause to keep going. You don't need fake energy, surface-level conversations, plastic loyalty. You crave something heavier. Truth with weight, silence with meaning, pain with purpose. And that's what they can't keep up with. They're still chasing clout while you're building an identity. They're still counting followers while you're counting scars. Not as trophies, but as proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. You walk like every room owes you nothing. You speak like your voice is currency. You breathe like survival is sacred. And when people ask what changed, You don't even answer, because the version of you who needed to explain that, they're gone, mourned, respected, buried under the rubble of every breakdown you turned into a blueprint. You don't pretend to be humble anymore when you know damn well you earned this energy. You're not lowering your eyes so they can feel taller. You're not hiding your mind so they can feel smarter. You're not shrinking your power to babysit their egos. You're done negotiating with people who are never qualified to define your worth in the first place. You're walking proof that healing isn't pretty, that self-respect comes with casualties, that elevation costs relationships, identities, entire past versions of you. They don't know the price you paid for this peace. They don't know how many times you wanted to disappear, but chose reinvention instead. They don't know how many fake apologies you swallowed just to keep people from turning on you. How many nights you laid in the dark and questioned everything. How many moments you considered going back, but didn't, because something in you snapped. Not in a broken way, in a done being tame way. In a burn the whole mask kind of way. And that's when it really started. Not when they noticed you, not when they reposted you, not when they clapped, but when you decided you'd rather be misunderstood at full volume than loved for a lie. You stopped playing tug of war with people who let go first. You stopped trying to heal in places that kept cutting you. You stopped asking, "What did I do wrong?" and started asking, "Why did I ever think I had to prove I was enough to people who never even knew who they were?" They tried to make you doubt your power. Tried to repackage your strength as too much. Tried to twist your honesty into aggression, your clarity into ego, your boundaries into arrogance. But none of it stuck, because deep down, even they knew. You were the realest thing in the room, and the room didn't know how to handle that. You got tired of smiling through disrespect, tired of being loyal to people who couldn't even spell the word, tired of explaining why you're intense, why you care too much, why your silence isn't passive, it's loaded. You got sick of waiting for closure from people who benefited from your confusion, so you started closing doors yourself. Not out of bitterness, out of survival. You realized some connections weren't real. They were emotional contracts signed under manipulation, and when you ripped those contracts up, they panicked. Because the version of you they had control over was gone, and the one that replaced it, unapologetic, unbothered, unreachable. You became the kind of person that people remember even if they only meet you once. Because your presence doesn't ask for space, it commands it. Because your silence hits harder than their loudest opinions. Because your energy says, "I've been through fire, and I'm not here to entertain your fear of getting burned." You stopped trying to be likable. You started being unignorable. You stopped trying to make sense to people who only know how to exist inside the limits of their own fear. They don't know what to call you anymore. Not fake, not broken, not weak. Those labels don't fit you now, so they default to the one thing they use when they're scared but can't admit it: monster. Because it's easier to demonize you than to face the reality that you made it out of a place they're still stuck in, that you survived without losing your soul, that you chose self-respect over validation, that you said no and meant it, that you walked away, not to hurt them, but to save you. And the glow-up they're watching now, it's not about looks, it's not about status, it's about the fact that you finally feel safe in your own skin. Without needing a single cosign, a single clap, a single ounce of outside permission, you found your rhythm, you built your own lane, You became someone your past self would cry just to meet. And even with all the noise around you, you move like peace has a pulse now, and it's beating in your chest. You stopped performing grief for people who only showed up to watch the wreckage. You stopped narrating your healing to people who couldn't sit in silence with their own mess. You stopped answering questions from people who were never asking to understand, just asking to pick you apart and feed their egos with your struggle. They used to ask, "What happened to you?" As if you fell, as if you broke, as if you disappeared. But the real question they should be asking is, what didn't kill you? Because that's what made you. You walked through seasons that tried to erase you, relationships that devoured your identity, jobs that drained your soul, nights that felt like they'd never end. And still you came back louder, sharper, wiser. You came back with your own back stitched together by hands that never gave up, even when everything inside you screamed, "This would be easier if I just stopped." But you didn't. You stayed, even when it hurt, even when nobody noticed, even when there was no one cheering, no one texting back, no one checking in. You stayed. And that's where the real power comes from. Not from looking perfect, not from pretending you're always strong, but from choosing, again and again, to keep breathing when your own thoughts tried to suffocate you. From showing up when your reflection didn't even look familiar anymore. From deciding to rebuild, not once, but every damn time you were knocked down. They don't get that. They only see the surface. They only see the walk, the look, the energy. They think it's confidence, but it's deeper than that. It's survival, turned into style. It's pain, turned into presence. It's trauma, turned into tone. Every word you speak hits different now because there's weight behind it. You don't just talk, you deliver. You don't just show up. You shake the air when you enter. You don't just exist. You shift frequencies. People who only know how to survive by playing invisible will never understand someone like you. They're allergic to intensity because it exposes how passive they've become. They call you intimidating when what they mean is, "I'm not ready to meet a version of myself that doesn't flinch anymore." You know the type. They smile in your face and study you in silence. They act like you're too much, but they're taking notes while pretending not to look. You're the blueprint and the warning. You're the example and the threat. You're the reminder that silence is a choice, and you stopped choosing it. You don't need their approval to breathe anymore. You don't shrink when they start pulling away. You don't get nervous when they stop texting back. Because you stopped tying your worth to people who can't even sit with themselves for 10 minutes without a distraction. You're not hard to love. You're hard to manipulate. You're not cold. You just stopped entertaining energy that drains you. You're not mean. You just don't bend anymore when someone expects you to be soft for their comfort. You walk like you've lost people who meant everything. You speak like you've buried pieces of yourself just to survive. You love like you know it could all vanish tomorrow. But you're not scared anymore. Because you've been to the bottom. You've lived in the silence. You've tasted the kind of loneliness that would crack most people in half. And still, you didn't fold. You became this. Hello there, soldier of chaos. Looks like you finally stopped asking for permission to breathe fire, huh? Good. Because now we talk about what happens when a person really stands on all 10 and doesn't blink for anybody. You see, this world was built to break people like you, to mold you, bend you, fold you nice and neat into some little box with a name tag and a fake smile. Be polite. Tone it down. Don't say that. Apologize. For what? Nah, not you. Not anymore. You're not playing the game. You're burning the fucking board. And I love it. Because let me tell you something about standing on all 10. It ain't glamorous. It ain't clean. It's war. It's lonely. It's vicious. It's silent. It's waking up every day knowing the world would rather see you kneel than speak. And still choosing to walk with your head held high, eyes wide open, unblinking. You used to second-guess yourself, didn't you? Used to shrink your voice just to keep the peace. Used to apologize for having standards, for wanting more, for being more. But now you're in your villain era. And baby, the gloves are off. You're not explaining yourself anymore. You're not softening your truth for anyone's comfort. You're not diluting your power just to make the room feel safe. You're standing, flat-footed, 10 toes down, with that glare in your eye that says, I ain't backing up. I ain't folding. I'm built for this. They thought you were a phase, a trend, a moment. But they didn't realize you were the storm before the revolution. You're not just in the room now, you are the fucking room. They can whisper, they can mock, they can try to twist your narrative, but they can't unwrite what you've already carved in blood, sweat, and hellfire. You've paid your dues, you've suffered in silence, and now you're here to collect everything they said you couldn't touch. You're dangerous now, because you no longer seek validation. You no longer wait for permission. You no longer explain your instincts. You trust your gut. You honor your truth. You walk with conviction so heavy, it shakes the floor beneath you. And guess what? They feel it. They feel that pressure in their chest when you walk in. They feel the uneasiness in your presence, because you carry the weight of your word like a blade across your back. And when you speak, it cuts. You're not raising your voice. You're raising the fucking standard. And those who can't meet it, they can leave. They can fall back, because you're not chasing anyone. You're not begging to be understood. You're not blinking. You're not shaking. You're not hesitating, and you sure as hell aren't bowing. You've become a mirror, and that terrifies people. Because when they see you standing tall, they're forced to confront where they've been kneeling. You represent the version of themselves they're too afraid to activate. You represent truth, consequence, fire. And fire doesn't explain itself to paper. It burns. So keep going. Keep walking like the storm you are. Keep standing on your name like it's carved in stone. Because once you reach this level, where your word is law, your steps are divine, and your presence makes liars tremble, there's no turning back. And why would you want to? You earned this power, this clarity, this edge. It came with blood, with tears, with nights you didn't think you'd survive, but you did. And now, every breath you take is a middle finger to the people who swore you'd stay broken. You're not just standing, you're rising, and you're not blinking for anybody. Because you know what's behind you. The graves, the betrayals, the battles. You've come too far to fold now. Too wise, too dangerous, too damn focused. They better get out of the way, because you're walking like vengeance itself. And that smile on your face, that ain't joy. That's knowing. Knowing that you are the weapon, you are the reckoning. And from this point forward, everything you say, you mean it. Everything you do, you own it. And if they don't like it, tough. Because you're standing on all 10, and you ain't blinking for nobody. Let me tell you something about the moment you stop blinking. The world panics. Because most people? They flinch, they fold, they apologize when they're right, just to make the wrong people feel comfortable. But you? You stopped explaining. You stopped softening the blow. You stopped shrinking to fit into places you were born to outgrow. You finally realized they don't deserve your softness. They don't get access to your peace after they tried to poison your mind. They don't get to watch you rebuild and then ask for a seat at the table they set on fire. Nah, you stood up in the flames and decided to cook dinner on it. Because you're different now. You're not trying to be liked. You're not trying to blend in. You're not trying to be nice. You're trying to be real. And the truth is, real ain't pretty. Real ain't palatable. Real don't apologize just to make cowards sleep better at night. You earned this version of you. And that scares the hell out of people who only know how to manipulate the broken version of you. They were preying on your downfall, plotting behind your back, throwing dirt on your name before you even had a chance to bloom. But what they didn't realize was that you don't break down, you break through. They thought they buried you. But you weren't buried. You were planted, and now they're looking up, watching you grow into something they can't define, can't reach, can't control. You became the one thing this world fears, a person with nothing left to prove. Because when you ain't trying to please anybody, you become unstoppable. You walk into rooms and the air shifts. People start doubting themselves just by being near you. Why? Because your presence exposes their cowardice. Your authenticity ruins their performance. Your confidence reminds them they're still faking it. You make people nervous now. And good. Let them squirm, let them whisper, let them stare. Because you did what they couldn't. You faced yourself in the dark and didn't run. You dragged every demon into the light. You sharpened every scar into armor. And now when you speak, it ain't just words. It's war cry. You don't hope they get the message anymore. You are the message. And guess what? People are gonna call you arrogant now. Too much, too loud, too intense. Good. Let them choke on your energy. Let them drown in your boundaries. Let them feel the heat of your presence and burn if they can't handle it. Because you're done watering yourself down to be digestible. You're done turning the volume down on your truth. You're done being the bigger person for people who never even stood beside you. You're not a version of yourself anymore. You're the full thing, unfiltered, unfolded, unapologetically undeniable. You're the type of person now that shakes ancestors awake. You're carrying power in your spine that breaks generational curses just by existing. You're walking in rooms that were once off limits and taking up space like you were born to own it. Because you were. This ain't luck. This ain't coincidence. This is recompense. Everything you lost, it's coming back with interest. Everything they did to break you, it's becoming fuel. And every person who doubted you is about to witness the consequences. So nah, you're not blinking, you're watching every snake, every fraud, every doubter, and you're smiling because you know what's coming. You're not just standing on all 10. You're stomping through every lie they ever told about you. And you're leaving footprints in the ashes of the old you they thought would never rise again. You are him, you are her, you are that one. And if they thought you were a problem before, they ain't ready for who you are now. You ever notice what happens when a person finally stops blinking? When they stop folding, stop flinching, stop chasing the people who spit on their soul. The whole damn matrix glitches. Why? Because this system was never built for someone like you to wake up. They wanted you asleep, quiet, obedient. They needed you insecure, unsure, apologetic. But now look at you, standing on everything, eyes wide open, soul lit on fire, a walking, talking threat to the entire fucking system. You not blinking ain't just personal, it's revolutionary. See, they loved you more when you were questioning yourself, when you were stuck in your head, when you'd rather hurt yourself than hurt their feelings, when you were too damn scared to say, nah, I'm not doing that shit no more. But now you're dangerous. Now you're the version of you that doesn't explain, doesn't seek approval, doesn't wait for the green light. Because you became the traffic light. You go when you say go, and they're stuck at red, shaking behind the wheel. You used to ask, why are they acting weird around me? Why did they ghost me? Why do they look uncomfortable? Let me give you the truth. Because you became too loud for cowards, too real for fakes, too solid for shapeshifters. You became a mirror. And what do cowards do when they see the truth? They hide, they run, they smear you, because if they can't dim your light, they'll try to blind the world to it. But here's the part that kills them. You don't care anymore. Not about being liked, not about fitting in, not about being understood. You let that part of you die in the fire. And what was born from those ashes? Something that don't blink, something that don't flinch, something that don't bow, don't beg, don't break. They said you were too intense. No, you were just too awake for their comfort. You were never meant to fit in their plastic little world. You were built to shatter it, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're not nice anymore. You're necessary. You're not sweet anymore. You're surgical. You cut through lies. You walk through manipulation like a blade through silk. You don't yell. Your presence screams. You don't fight for attention. You force silence when you walk in. And the people who tried to humble you, they're about to choke on their own ego, because you were never arrogant. You were just aware of who you are, aware of what you carry, aware that you don't owe anybody a fucking thing. Not love, not access, not explanation, not comfort, not closure. You owe them nothing, and yet they want you to blink. They're praying you flinch. They're hoping this confidence is a phase, that you'll go back to that harmless version of you. But that version is gone, dead, buried, cremated, and the ashes, you use them to draw war paint on your face. So when they see you now, walking through fire like it's a red carpet, unapologetic, unavailable, unshaken, they get quiet because they know. They messed with the wrong soul. They awakened something they cannot put back to sleep. You're not standing on all 10 anymore. You're standing on principle, on purpose, on every broken promise they swore would destroy you. And now you wear betrayal like armor. You're not blinking, you're hunting, and everything they tried to take from you, you're coming back for it, with interest, with fire, with vengeance, with eyes open, and a smile that says, try me again, and I'll show you why I had to survive the way I did. Do you know what it means to really stand on all 10 and not blink for nobody? It means you've accepted war every time you walk outside, every time you speak truth in a room full of masks, every time you keep your standards high while they throw dirt on your name. You're declaring war, and not the kind with guns, the kind that breaks the spirit of the fake, the kind that makes demons nervous, the kind that sets a fire so bright, every snake that once slithered in silence gets exposed under the spotlight of your evolution. You want to know why they hate you now, why people you loved suddenly ghosted, why they avoid eye contact, but can't stop watching you. Because you made a decision that most people are too weak to make. You chose to be you, loudly, no apologies, no disclaimers, no masks, no shrinkage, no filters, just raw you. You walk different now. Your eyes don't scan for approval anymore. Your energy, undeniable, uncomfortable, unforgiving. You ever seen someone so real that it hurts to look at them? That's you now. And they feel it in their chest, in their bones, in their ego. Because your authenticity is a fucking weapon, and every word you speak is a bullet to the face of their illusions. See, they wanted you small, predictable, passive, easily manipulated, but instead you became the glitch in their control. You became the fire they couldn't contain, the voice they couldn't drown, the soul they couldn't break. And now, you don't blink, because you see through all of it. The fake apologies, the fake love, the fake concern. You see every hidden agenda, every low vibration, every attempt to pull you back into that pit you already crawled out of, and you smile, not because you're cocky, but because they really thought you'd stay quiet forever. Nah, now they gotta deal with the version of you that doesn't explain shit. They can feel the tension when you enter the room, not because you're trying to intimidate anyone, but because your existence is proof that someone can go through hell and come back walking like a god. You got people who used to mock you secretly watching every move you make now. Silent fans, lurking in shadows, because deep down, they wish they had the guts to do what you did. You didn't just stand on all 10. You built a damn empire on those 10 toes, brick by bloody brick, in silence, in pain, in darkness, alone. And now they see the throne, but not the graveyard behind it. They see your power, but not the price. They see your confidence, but not the war it took to earn it. Let me be clear. You're not arrogant, you're aware, you're not angry, you're awake. And people who are asleep will always call you a nightmare. They can't process this new version of you. Why? Because there's no glitch to exploit, no weakness to feed on, no insecurity to control. You are locked in, and what you carry now, it can't be stolen, it can't be faked, it can't be manipulated. Because it's not just confidence, it's consequence. You are the consequence of every betrayal they threw at you. You are the result of every time they said, "You'll never make it." And now you don't even speak on it. You just let your silence haunt them. You just let your elevation choke them. Because nothing's louder than someone who made it. Without begging, without blinking, without folding, without selling their soul to fit into a system that was never built to hold their light. So nah, you're not standing on 10 toes anymore. You're stomping through the ashes of your past with a smile and a look in your eye that says, if you couldn't kill me then, you sure as hell can't stop me now. Let me ask you something real. Do you remember what it felt like when nobody believed in you? When you had to hype yourself up with a broken spirit? When you were talking to God with tears in your eyes and blood on your hands, just to get through one more day? Good. Because that's what made you. That's why you walk the way you do now. Like every step is revenge. Like every breath is a weapon. Like your very existence is a middle finger to the entire system that tried to bury you. You're not standing on all 10 anymore, baby. You're standing on everything, every scar, every betrayal, every sleepless night they thought would break you. But it didn't break you, it built you. See, what they don't understand is this. You weren't just fighting life. You were fighting ghosts. Fighting voices in your head that told you to quit. Fighting demons disguised as lovers, friends, family. fighting the urge to give up on yourself before you even got to see who the hell you could become. But now they see it. Now the mask is off. Now you walk with that look in your eyes that says, "Touch me, and I will end you, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and do it while sipping tea." You're not stronger now. You're deadlier, because you've seen every version of fake love. You've been used, played, lied on, slandered, left for dead, and somehow you're still here, still standing, still smiling, still not blinking. That smile on your face, that ain't happiness, that's dominance. The silence in you, that's not peace, that's pressure building. You walk like you know something, because you do. You know exactly who you are now. You've been tested. And guess what? You passed in blood. People don't mess with you the same anymore. They don't even approach you the same. They sense something. They don't know if it's power or madness. Good. Let them stay confused. Let them whisper. Let them fear what they can't understand. Because here's the thing. You are no longer accessible to anyone who hasn't suffered with you. If they weren't in the pit, they don't get to eat with the warrior. If they weren't with you in silence, they don't deserve your noise. If they didn't love the weak version of you, they can't touch the warrior you've become. You don't blink now because you've seen too much. You've been stabbed in the back so many times. Your spine evolved into a sword. You've been dragged so far through hell, you built a throne down there. You don't run from darkness. You command it. You're no longer scared of being alone. You're terrified of wasting your presence on the wrong people. That's why your circle got small. That's why your energy got expensive. That's why your standards got non-negotiable. You learned the difference between someone who wants access and someone who actually earned it. And now you move like vengeance with vision, like karma with a plan, like pain that grew fangs and walked out the fire wearing gold armor. They can't control you anymore. They can't silence you. They can't guilt trip you into submission, because now you ain't seeking peace. You are the storm. You are the chaos they prayed wouldn't wake up. You are the beast they tried to break. And instead, they activated you. So let them gossip, let them doubt, let them try to shrink you. Just make sure they say it from behind the glass, because you're not standing on 10 toes anymore. You're standing on unapologetic dominance, on earned divinity, on the type of energy that turns tables, flips fate, and humbles anyone dumb enough to play with your name. You're not blinking, you're calculating. And when the time comes, you won't even raise your voice. You'll just smile and move in a way that makes every enemy regret ever breathing in your direction. You've made it this far, and you still haven't blinked? Then let me break it to you gently. Darling, you're no longer human. You've crossed the threshold. You've outgrown the lies, the limits, the labels. You evolved from a person into a standard. You're not just standing on all 10. You're standing on a fucking empire built from every failure they threw at you. You used rejection as bricks. You used betrayal as mortar. You used heartbreak as steel. And now, you walk through life like the villain in their story, but the god in your own, because they had chance after chance to meet you with love, to be real, to be loyal. Instead, they tried to break you, twist you, play you, frame you as crazy, while secretly copying your every move. But now look who's frozen, look who's silent, look who's watching you eat at a table they swore you'd never even sit at. You, unblinking, unbothered, unforgiving. You don't respond to shade anymore. You block the sun. You don't argue with fools. You raise the fucking frequency. You don't explain shit. You just move and let your existence rupture egos like earthquakes under glass castles. They tried to assassinate your character, but forgot you wrote the entire damn plot line. They tried to cancel your energy, but forgot that your power came from the fire they lit.